Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Magnaतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपथकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनारित्यन्दस्तो भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भागवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. 331-35. न तथास्य भवेन्मोहो बन्धश्चान्या प्रसङ्गता योषित्सङ्गात् यथा पुंसो यथा तत्सङ्गी सङ्गता. Na, not. Tata, in that manner. Asya, of this man. Bhaved, may arise. Moha, infatuation. Bandha, bondage. Cha, and. Anya prasangata, from attachment to any other object. Yoshit sangad, from attachment to woman. Yata, as pumsa of a man. Yata, as tatsangi of a man who are fond of woman. Sangata, from the fellowship. Translation. The infatuation and bondage which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as that resulting from attachment to a woman or to a fellowship of men who are fond of women. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Attachment to woman is so contaminating that one becomes attached to conditions of to the condition of material life, not only by the association of women, but by the contaminated association of persons who are too attached to them. There are many reasons for our conditional life in the material world, but the topmost of all such causes is the association of women, as will be confirmed in the following stanzas. In Kali Yuga, association with women is very strong. In every step of life, there is association with women. If a person goes to purchase something, the advertisements are full of pictures of women. The physiological attraction for women is very great, and therefore people are very slack in spiritual understanding. The Vedic civilization, being based on spiritual understanding, arranges association with women very cautiously. Out of the four social divisions, the members of the first order, namely Brahmacharya, the third order Vanaprastha, and the fourth order Sannyas, are strictly prohibited from female association. Only in one order the householder is there licensed to mix with women under restricted conditions. In other words, attraction for women's association is the cause of the material conditional life, and anyone interested in being free from this conditional life must detach himself from the association of women. Text number 36. Prajapati svam duhitaram drishtva tadrupadarshita rohit bhutam sonvadavad raksharupi hatatripa. Prajapati, Lord Brahma, svam, his own, duhitaram, daughter, drishtva, having seen, tadrupa, by her charms, darshita, bewildered, rohit bhutam, to her in the form of a deer, sahahi, anvadavad, run, riksharupi, in the form of a stag, hata, bereft of, trapa, shame. Translation. At the sight of his own daughter, Brahma was bewildered by her charms and shamelessly ran up to her in the form of a stag when she took the form of a hind. Purport. Lord Brahma's being captivated by the charms of his daughter and Lord Shiva's being captivated by the Mohini form of the Lord are specific instances which instruct us that even great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva, what to speak of the ordinary conditioned soul, are captivated by the beauty of a woman. Therefore, everyone is advised that one should not freely mix even with one's daughter or with his mother or with his sister, because the senses are so strong that when one becomes infatuated, the senses do not consider the relationship of daughter, mother, or sister. It is best, therefore, to practice controlling the senses by performing bhakti yoga, engaging in the service of Madana Mohana. Lord Krishna's name is Madan Mohan, for he can subdue the god Cupid or lust. Only by engaging in the service of Madan Mohan can one curb the dictates of Madan, Cupid. Otherwise, attempts to control the senses will fail. Text 37. Tat srishta srishta srishteshu konva khandita dipuman rishim narayanamrite yoshinmaye hamayaya. That by Brahma srishta srishta shriteshu, among all living entities begotten, kaha who, nu, indeed, akhandita, not distracted, dihi, his intelligence, puman, male, rishim, the sage, narayanam, narayana, rite, except, yoshit, maya, in the form of a woman, iha, here, mayaya, by maya. Translation. Amongst all kinds of living entities begotten by Brahma, namely men, demigods, and animals, none but the sage Narayana is immune to the attraction of Maya in the form of a woman. Purport. The first living creature is Brahma himself, and from him were created sages like Marichi, who in their turn created Kashyapa Muni and others. And Kashyapa Muni and the Manus created different demigods, and human beings, etc. But there is none among them who is not attracted by the spell of Maya in the form of a woman. Throughout the entire material world, beginning from Brahma down to the small insignificant creatures, like the ant, everyone is attracted by sex life. That is the basic principle of this material world. Lord Brahma's being attracted by his daughter is the vivid example that no one is exempt from sexual attraction to woman. Woman, therefore, is the wonderful creation of Maya to keep the conditioned soul in shackles. Text 38. Balam me pasya mayaya stri mayaya jinodisham ya karoti padakrantan bruvi jrimbena kevalam. Balam, the strength. Me, my. Pasya, behold. Mayaya, of Maya. Srimaya, in the shape of a woman. Yajina, conquerors. The Sham of all directions. Ya, who. Karoti, makes. Pada akrantan, following at her heels. Bruvi, of her eyebrows. Shrimbena, by the movement. Kevalam, merely. Translation. Just try to understand the mighty strength of my Maya in the shape of a woman, who by the mere movement of her eyebrows can keep even the greatest conquerors of the world under her grip. Purport. There are many instances in the history of the world of a great conquerors being captivated by the charms of a Cleopatra. One has to study the captivating potency of woman and man's attraction for that potency. From what source was this generated? According to Vedanta Sutra, we can understand that everything is generated from the Supreme Person of Godhead. It is enunciated there, Janmadasyayataha. This means that the Supreme Person of Godhead, or the Supreme Person, Brahman, the Absolute Truth, is the source from whom everything emanates. The captivating power of a woman and man's susceptibility to such attraction must also exist in the Supreme Person of Godhead in the spiritual world and must be represented in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The Lord is the Supreme Person, the Supreme Male, as a common male wants to be attracted by a female. Similarly, as a common male wants to be attracted by a female, similarly, that propensity is in the Supreme Person of Godhead. He also wants to be attracted by the beautiful features of a woman. Now the question is, if he wants to be captivated by such womanly attraction, would he be attracted by any material woman? It is not possible. Even persons who are in this material existence can give up womanly attraction if they are attracted by the Supreme Brahman. Such was the case with Haridas Thakur. A beautiful prostitute tried to attract him in the dead of the night, but since he was situated in devotional service in transcendental love of Godhead, Haridas Thakur was not captivated. Rather, he turned the prostitute into a great devotee by his transcendental association. This material attraction, therefore, certainly cannot attract the Supreme Lord. When he wants to be attracted by a woman, he has to create such a woman from his own energy. That woman is Radharani. It is explained by the Goswamis that Radharani is the manifestation of the pleasure potency of the Supreme Person of Godhead. When the Supreme Lord wants to derive transcendental pleasure, he has to create a woman from his internal potency. Thus, the tendency to be attracted by womanly beauty is natural because it exists in the spiritual world. In the material world, it is reflected pervertedly, and therefore there are so many inebrities. Instead of being attracted by material beauty, if one is accustomed to be attracted by the beauty of Radharani and Krishna, then the statement in Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishtva Nivartate, holds true. When one is attracted by the transcendental beauty of Radha and Krishna, he is no longer attracted by material feminine beauty. That is the special significance of Radha and Krishna worship. That is testified to by Yamuna Acharya. He says, Since I have become attracted by the beauty of Radha and Krishna, when there is attraction for a woman or a memory of sex life with a woman, I at once spit on it and my face turns in disgust. When we are attracted by Madan Mohan and the beauty of Krishna and his consorts, then the shackles of conditional life, namely the beauty of a material woman, cannot attract us. 639. Samgam Samgam न कुर्यात् प्रमदाशु जातु योगस्य param आरुरुक्षु मत्सेवया प्रातिलभात् मलाभो वदन्ति या निरायद्वारमस्य. Sangam association not kuryad, one should make pramada shu with moment, jatu ever, yogasya of yoga, param culmination, param topmost, aru rukshu, one who aspires to reach, matsevaya by rendering service unto me, pratilabda obtain, atmalabha self-realization, varanti they say, yaha which woman, niraya to hell, dvaram the gateway, asya of the advancing devotee, translation. One who aspires to reach the culmination of yoga and has realized his self by rendering service unto me should never associate with an attractive woman. For such a woman is declared in the scripture to be the gateway to hell for the advancing devotee. 331-39. 331. Purport.
Hold on, Prabhu. Let me take a screenshot of that.
There's a recording for this also.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Purport. The culmination of yoga is full Krishna consciousness. This is affirmed in Bhagavad Gita. A person who is always thinking of Krishna and devotion is the topmost of all yogis. And in the second chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is also stated that when one becomes freed from the material contamination by rendering of devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can at that time understand the science of God. Here the word pratilabdatmalabha occurs. Atma means self and labha means gain. Generally, conditioned souls have lost their atma or self, but those who are transcendentalists have realized the self. It is directed that such a self-realized soul who aspires to be the topmost platform of yogic perfection. It is directed that such a self-realized soul who aspires to the topmost platform of yogic perfection should not associate with young women. In the modern age, however, there are so many rascals who recommend that while one has genitals, he should enjoy women as much as he likes, and at the same time he can become a yogi. In no standard yoga system is the association of women accepted. It is clearly stated here that the association of women is the gateway to hellish life. The association of women is very much restricted in the Vedic civilization. Out of the four social divisions, the Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, and the Sannyasi, three orders are strictly prohibited from the association of women. Only the grihastas or householders are given license to have an intimate relationship with a woman, and that relationship is also restricted for begetting nice children. If, however, one wants to stick to continued existence in the material world, he may indulge in female association unrestrictedly. Oh, Krishna. Yeah, this is a warning. To not associate with women. Very nice verses. I
This
think
is
it
what is being pushed in movies, in TV series, novels. In fact, we are all taught to become so rich that we get only attractive girls as a wife.
Yes, bro. This is
Shall I
great.
read the following 3-4 verses, Prabhu? I'll
Yes,
be
bro.
driving after that.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Pranjal
Prabhu.
Prabhu, can you scroll? Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Standard Pranam, Jai Shila Prabhupada. I
Hare Krishna
forgot to read.
Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Text 40. Yopayati shanain maya yoshideva vinirmita tamikshatatmano mrityum trine kupamibhavratam. I got it mixed up. Okay. Ya she who upayati approaches, Shanai slowly, Maya representation of Maya, Yoshit woman, Deva by the Lord, Vinirmita created, Tam her, Ikshata one must regard, Atmana of the soul, Mrityum death, Tranai with grass, Kupam a well, Iva like Avratam covered. Translation: the woman created by the Lord is a representation of Maya. Okay. And one who associates with such Maya by accepting services must certainly know that this is the way of death, just like a blind well covered with grass. But sometimes it happens that a rejected well is covered by grass. Oh. An unwary traveler who does not know of the existence of the well falls down and his death is assured. Similarly, association with a woman begins when one accepts service from her because woman is especially created by the Lord to give service to man. In our day-to-day lives, Prabhu, what kind of service do we accept from a woman? Is it just engaging in a conversation that is also called service from a woman?
Prabhu, there can be so many things for the karmis.
Yeah, that's that. But service, at least in my experience, I don't see anything as service. I mean, they should do something for you, and I personally don't see anything. Okay, wait, let me just mark that as Pradhan.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, but in your case, I think there won't be such examples. But if you see any Western living being, you will find so many examples how, in so many ways, how the service is
Oh,
taken.
are we talking about prostitution, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu. Anything. They want to cook, they want to clean, they want to wash their clothes. There's so many things. It's endless.
Okay. No, but you're talking about in a married essence, right? Or you're talking about a living relationship type?
Yes, Prabhu. Because
Oh,
here
oh,
is
oh, yeah. Now, yeah,
here
that
is
makes sense.
yeah, here is no question of marriage anymore. No one is thinking about that's
Okay.
old-fashioned thing. So here, but yeah, in this way, men accept the service because and they accept
Okay,
from
okay.
many different women because they have many different girlfriends. So they got many different women serving them, doing
Oh,
small
yeah,
things
yeah.
like this. And the school is also in school, the girls might help in something, some task or yeah, there's so many things, especially in West, the
Oh, yeah.
examples.
Okay, then yes. Then I'm having someone to write my assignment. Yes, I've done all these things.
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. Thank you, bro. So could you scroll up, Prabhu? Okay. By accepting her service, a man is entrapped. by, accept, by accepting her service, a man is entrapped. If he is not intelligent enough to know that she is the gateway to hellish life, he may indulge in her association very liberally. This is restricted for those who aspire to ascend to the transcendental platform. Even 50 years ago in Hindu society, such association was restricted. A wife could not see her husband during daytime. Householders even had different residential headquarters. The internal quarters of a residential house were for the women. the external quarters were for the man. Oh, so a husband and wife never slept together in the same room. Oh, acceptance of service rendered by a woman may appear to be very pleasing, but one should be very cautious in accepting such service because it is clearly said that woman is a gateway to death or forgetfulness of oneself. Wow. She blocks the path of spiritual realization. Text 41.
Yes, Prabhu, they make the spell by offering something to eat. Like we do with prasadam, they give their something.
This is super scary, Prabhu. I mean, this is what we have passed through. Wow, I didn't even realize this. Transcend into the path. Yammanyate pate mohan manmayam rishabhaya rishabhayatim stritvam stri sangata prapto vittaptaya graha pradam yam which manyate she thinks patim her husband mohat due to illusion mat mayam my maya Shabha in the form of man, Ayatim coming, Stritvam, the state of being a woman, Stri Sangataha from attachment to a woman, Praptaha obtained, Vitta wealth, Apatya progeny, Graha house, Pranam bestowing. Translation: a living entity who, as a result of attachment to a woman in his previous life, has been endowed with the form of a woman, foolishly looks upon Maya in the form of a man, her husband, as the bestower of wealth, progeny, house, and other material assets. Wait. A living entity who, as a result of attachment to a woman in the previous life, has endowed with the form of a woman, foolishly looks upon Maya in the form of a man, her husband as a bestower of wealth, progeny, house, and other material assets. Oh. So technically, if someone who's attached to a woman, Prabhu, did the meeting get exited sometime?
No.
What happened? Where were we?
Sorry, I got exited by mistake. Yeah,
Okay.
no,
You can.
I was asking if, yeah, when we are going to think about women now, we are likely to become a woman in the next birth.
Yes,
As per
Prabhu,
this
that's
translation.
yeah.
Everything is super scary from the last week. Okay, perfect. From this verse, it appears that a woman is also supposed to have been a man in a previous life. Due to this attachment to his wife, he now has a body of a woman. Wow. Bhagavad Gita confirms this. A man gets his next life's birth according to what he thinks at the time of death. If someone is too attached to his wife, naturally he thinks of his wife at the time of death. And in his next life, he takes the body of a woman. Similarly, if a woman thinks of her husband at the time of death, then naturally she gets the body of a man in the next life. In the Hindu scriptures, therefore, woman's chastity and devotion to man is greatly emphasized. A woman's attachment to her husband may elevate her to the body of a man in her next life, but a man's attachment to a woman will degrade him. And in his next life, he will get the body of a woman. We should always remember, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, that both the gross and subtle material bodies are dresses. They are they are the shirt and coat of the living entity. To be either a woman or man only involves bodily dress. The soul in nature is transcendental. Could you scroll up, Prabhu? The soul in nature is actually the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. Oh.
Oh no, Prabhu. You're going too much.
Oh, big purport.
Yeah, Pranjal Prabhu is also scrolling, so we had two scrollers.
Okay. Have to bring it down a little, Prabhu. Yeah, it's fine, Prabhu. We are that. We are that. The soul in nature is actually the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. Every living entity being classified as energy is supposed to be originally a woman. Oh. Every living entity being classified as energy is supposed to be originally a woman or one who's enjoyed. Oh, yeah, that's what Krishna will be. Prakriti, he's Purusha. Okay. In the body of a man, there is a greater opportunity to get out of the material clutches. There is less opportunity in the body of a woman. In this verse, it is indicated that body of a man should not be misused through forming an attachment to woman and thus becoming too entangled in material enjoyment, which will result in getting the body of a woman in the next life. A woman is generally fond of household prosperity, ornaments, furniture, and dresses. She is satisfied when the husband supplies all these things sufficiently. The relationship between man and woman is very complicated, but the substance is that one who aspires to ascend to the transcendental stage of spiritual realization should be very careful in accepting the association of a woman. In the state of Krishna consciousness, however, such restriction of association may be slackened because if a man's and woman's attachment is not to each other but to Krishna. There you go. Yeah. Then both of them are equally eligible to get out of the material entanglement and reach the abode of Krishna. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, anyone who seriously takes to Krishna consciousness, whether in the lowest species of life or a woman or of the less intelligent class, such as the mercantile or laborer class, will go back home, back to Godhead, and reach the abode of Krishna. A man should not be attached to a woman, nor should a woman be attached to a man. Both man and woman should be attached to service of the Lord. Then there is a possibility of liberation from material entanglement for both of them. Prabhu, can someone take over now?
Very bold.
Is it okay, Prabhu? Someone to take over now?
Satnam Jai Shri Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, I think so.
Can I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Text 42. Tam atmano vijanyat patya atpatya gratmakam daivopasandikam pratyum Brugyor Jnanam Yataha Tam, the Lord's Maya, at Manaha of herself Vijnayat. She should know Pati, husband, Ap- Aptaya, children, Graha, house, Atmakam, consisting of Daiva by the authority of the Lord, Upasaditam, brought about Mrityum, death, Mrugyo of the hunter, Ga- Gi- Ganyanam, the singing, Yatha, as translation, human, therefore should consider her husband, her house, and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter his death for the deer. Purport. In these instructions of Lord Kapiladeva, it is explained that not only is woman the gateway to hell for man, but man is also the gateway to hell for woman. It is question of attachment. A man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and many other assets. And similarly, a woman becomes attached to a man for his giving her a nice place to live, ornaments, dress, and children. It is a question of attachment for one another. As long as neither is attached to the other, ni- sorry, neither is attached to the other for such material enjoyment, the woman is dangerous for the man, and the man is also dangerous for the woman. But if the attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna consciousness, and then marriage is very easy. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends anaksh anasaktasya vishayan yatra tam यत्र तम् उपयोज्यताः निर्बन्धकृष्णसम्बन्धे युक्तं वैराग्य उच्यते 1.2.25. Man and woman should live together as householders in relationship with Krishna only for the purpose of discharging duties in the service of Krishna. Engage the children, engage the wife, and engage the husband all in Krishna consciousness duties, and then all these bodily or material attachments will disappear since the medium is Krishna. The consciousness is pure and there is no possibility of degradation of at any time. Text 43. Dehina jiva bhutena local lokam anuvarjana भुञ्जान एव कर्माणि करोति आवृत्तं पुनः पुमन् Dehina, on account of the body, Jiva Bhutena, possessed by the living entity, Lokat, from one planet, Lokam, to another planet, Anuvarjan, wandering, Bunjana, enjoying, Eva, so, Karmani, fruitive activities, Karoti, he does, Aviratam, incessantly, Puman, the living entity. Translation: due to his particular type of body, the materialistic living entity wanders from one planet to another, following fruitive activities. In this way, he involves himself in fruitive activities and enjoys the result instantly. Purport: when the living entity is engaged in the material body, he is called Jiva-bhuta, and when he is free from the material body, he is called Brahma-bhuta. By changing his material body birth after birth, he travels not only in the different species of life but also from one planet to another. Lord Chaitanya says that the living entity is bound by fruitive activities or wandering in this way throughout the whole universe, and if some chance or By pious activities, they get in touch with their bona fide spiritual master. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu, that it disconnects and then again it connects. No, no, wait. Okay. With a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. Then they get the seed of devotion service. After getting the seed, if one sows it within his heart and pours water on it by hearing and chanting, the seed grows into a big plant, and there are few fruits and flowers which the living entity can enjoy. Even in this material world, that is called the Brahma Bhuta stage. In his designated condition, a living entity is called materialistic, and upon being freed from all designation, when he is fully Krishna consciousness, engaged in devotion service, he is called liberated. Unless, unless one gets the opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of the Lord, there is no possibility of one's liberation from the cycle of birth and death in the different species of life and through the different grades of planets. Text 44. Jivo hi ashyanugo deho bhutendriya manomaya तन्निरोधो स्य मरणम् avirbhavastu sambhavah. Jiva, the living entity, he, indeed, asya, of him, anugha, suitable, deha, body, bhuta, gross material elements, indriya, senses, manaha, mind, maya, made of touch of the body, nirodhana, mind, senses. Okay, Nirodhana, destruction, Asya, of the living entity, Maranam, death, Avirbhavaha, manifestation, But, Sambhavaha, birth. Translation: in this way, the living entity gets a suitable body with a material mind and senses. According to his intuitive activities, when the creation of his particular activity is finished, it is called death, and when a particular type of reaction begins, that is called birth. Oh, okay, very nicely explained. Purport: from time immemorial, the living entity travels in the different species of life and the different planets almost perpetually. This process is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmanya sarva bhutani yatra ruddhani mayaya. Under the spell of Maya, everyone is wandering throughout the universe on the carriage of the body offered by the material energy. Materialistic life involves a series of actions and reactions. It is a long uh, fil- film film pool of actions and reactions, and one lifespan is just a flash in such a reactionary show. When a child is born, it is to be understood that his particular type of body is the beginning of another set of activities, and when an old man dies, it is to be understood that one set of reactionary activities finished. We can see that because of different reactionary activities, one man is born in a rich family and another is born in a poor family, although both of them are born in the same place, in the same moment and the same atmosphere. One who is carrying pious activities with him is given a chance to take his birth in a rich or impious family, and when one who is carrying impious activity is given a chance to take birth in a lower poor family. The change of body means a change of a different field of activity. Similarly, when the body of the boy changes in changes into that of a youth, the bluish activities change into youthful activities. It is clear that a particular body is given to the living entity for a particular type of activity. This process is going on perpetually from a time which is impossible to trace out. Vaishnava poets say, therefore, andhikaram phale, which means that these actions and reactions of one's activity cannot be traced, for they may even continue from the last millennium of Brahma's birth to the next millennium. We have seen the example in the life of Narada Muni. In one millennium, he was the son of maidservant, and in the next millennium, he became a great sage. Okay. Anyone wants to continue? Please. Thank you, bro.
Haribol, thank you so much, Prabhu. Oh, Hare Krishna, Jai Govinda, Prabhu, Dandat Pram, Jai Shila Prabhupada. Thank you for joining,
Bob,
Prabhu.
may I read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu's. I would.
Hare Krishna Bhagavatam Pranam to all of you. Jai Sri Prabhupada.
Dandat Pram, Jai Shila Prabhupada.
द्रव्योपलब्धिस्थानस्य द्रव्ये द्रव्येच्छयोग्यता तदपञ्चत्वम् अहं मानात् उत्पत्तिर्द्रव्यदर्शनः यथा विष्णोर्द्रव्य अवयव दर्शनयोग्यता यदा तदैव चक्षुषो द्रष्टृयोग्यतानयो द्रव्य of the object उपलब्धि of perception स्थानस्य of the place द्रव्य of object इच्छा perception अयोग्यता incapability यदा when that panchatam death ahamana from the misconception of by utpatti birth the physical body darshanam viewing yatha just as action of the drapya of object avayav parts darshan of seeing yogyata incapability yatha when tada then indeed chaksha of the sense of sight drashtu of the seer drashta drashtarya of the faculty of seeing ayogyata incapability anayoh of both of these. Translation: when the eyes lose their power to see color or form due to morbid affliction of the optic nerve, the sense of sight becomes deadened. The divinity who is the seer of both the eyes and the sight loses its power of vision. In the same way, when the physical body, the place where perception of object occurs, is rendered incapable of perceiving, that is known as death. When one began to view the physical body as one's very self, that is called birth. But when one says, I see,
Bro, Hare Krishna.
this means that he is with his eyes or with his spectacles. He says with the instrument of sight, if the instrument of sight is broken or becomes diseased or incapable of acting, then he, as a seer, also ceases to act. Similarly, in this material body, at the present moment, the divinity is acting, and when the material body, due to its incapability to function, ceases, he also ceases to perform his reactionary activities. When one's instrument of action is broken and cannot function, that is called death. Again, when one gets a new instrument for action, that is called birth. The process of birth and death is going on at every moment by constant body change. The final change is called death, and the acceptance of a new body is called birth. That is the solution of the question of birth and death. Actually, the humanity has neither birth nor death, but is eternal as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Nahanyate Hanumani Sarire. The living entity never dies even after death of or annihilation of this material body. Thank you, Prabhu. Someone else can read.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Ribol. So we have two more verses. Who will finish the chapter?
Prabhu, maybe I can read if possible.
Ribol, yes, Prabhu. Very nice.
Kindly forgive me for pronouncing the Sanskrit verses. I do not know the tune. If you know Sami Prabhu the tune, then you can do and I can read the other thing. But if you do not know, then
Oh, this is the regular one, Prabhu. You can do it surely.
oh, Prabhu. Okay. Tasman na karya santrasho na karpanyam na sambramaha budva jivagatim diro mukta sangaschare iha.
Ribol.
Tasmat, on account of this, na, not. Karya should be done. Santrasha, horror. Na, not. Karpanyam, miserliness. Na, not. Sambrama, eagerness for material gain. Budva, realizing. Jivagatim, the true nature of the living entity. Dira, steadfast. Mukta Sangha, free from attachment. Charet, one should move about. Iha, in this world. Translation. Therefore, one should not view death with horror, nor have recourse to defining the body as soul, nor give way to exaggeration in enjoying the bodily necessities of life. Realizing the true nature of the living entity, one should move about in the world free from attachment and steadfast in purpose. Purported by Srila Prabhupada. A sane person who has understood the philosophy of life and death is very upset about hearing of the horrible, hellish condition of life in the womb of the mother or outside of the mother. But one has to make a solution to the problems of life. A sane man should understand the miserable condition of the material body. Without being unnecessarily upset, one should try to find out if there is a remedy. The remedial measures can be understood when one associates with persons who are liberated. It must be understood who is actually liberated. The liberated person is described in Bhagavad Gita, one who engages in uninterrupted devotional service to the Lord, having surpassed the stringent law of material nature, is understood to be situated in Brahman. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is beyond the material creation. It is admitted even by the impersonalists like Sankaracharya that Narayan is transcendental to this material creation. As such, when one actually engages in the service of the Lord in various forms, either Narayan or Radha Krishna or Sitaram, is understood to be on the platform of liberation. The Bhagavatam also confirms that liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position. Since a living entity is eternally the servitor of the Supreme Lord, when one seriously and sincerely engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, that is a position of liberation. One should try to associate with a liberated person, and then the problems of life, namely birth and death, can be solved. While discharging devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, one should not be miserly. He should not unnecessarily show that he has renounced this world. Actually, renunciation is not possible. If one renounces his palatial building and goes to a forest, there is actually no renunciation because a palatial building is a property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the forest is also the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he changes from one property to another, that does not mean he renounces. He was never the proprietor of either the palace, or forest. Renunciation necessitates renouncing the false understandings that one can lord it over material nature. When one renounces his false attitude and renounces a puffed up position that he is also God, that is real renunciation. Otherwise, there is no meaning of renunciation. Rupa Goswami advises that if one renounces anything which could be applied in the service of the Lord and does not use for that purpose, that is called palu vairagya, insufficient or false renunciation. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore everything can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Nothing should be used for one's sense gratification, that is real renunciation. Nor should one unnecessarily increase the necessities of the bodies. We should be satisfied with whatever is offered and supplied by Krishna without much personal endeavor. We should spend our time executing devotional service in Krishna consciousness, that is a solution of the problem of life and death. Wow. Verse 48. Samyak darshanaya buddhiya yoga viragya yuktaya maya virachite loke charanyasya kalevaram. Samyak darshanyaya, endowed with right vision. Buddhaya, through reason. Yoga, by devotional service. Vairagya, by detachment. Yuktaya, strengthened. Maya virachite, arranged by Maya. Loke, to this world. Charet, one should move about. Nyasya, relegating. Kalevaram, the body. Translation. Endowed with right vision and strengthened by devotional service and a pessimistic attitude toward material identity, one should relegate his body to this illusionary world through his reason. Thus, one can be unconcerned with this material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is sometimes misunderstood that if one has to associate with persons engaged in devotional service, he will not be able to solve the economic problem. To enter this argument, it is described here that one has to associate with liberated persons not directly, physically, but by understanding through philosophy and logic the problems of life. It is stated here, Samyak Darshanaya Buddhya. One has to see perfectly, and by intelligence and yoga practice, one has to renounce this world. That renunciation can be achieved by the process recommended in the second chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The devotee's intelligence is always in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His attitude toward the material existence is one of detachment, for he knows perfectly well that this material world is a creation of illusory energy. Realizing himself to be part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, the devotee discharges his devotional service and is completely aloof from material action and reaction. Thus, at the end, he gives up his material body of the material energy. As a pure soul, he enters the kingdom of God. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport on the third canto, 31st chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Lord Kapila's Instruction of the Movement of the Living Entities. Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice chapter. Okay, so tomorrow we continue from chapter 32. Now we go to 6 prayers. Who would like to begin?
Okay. Teto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam shairakaireva chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvaranam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पितानि अमिता स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदर्शमिह जानिनानुरागः
तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना मानेन मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं पाशगरीषकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
ऐनन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विश्वं भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदाहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति
गायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविशायितं शून्ययितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
अश्लेषवापादरतां पिनष्टवाम् अदर्शनां मर्मातां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातुलं पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः
Haribol. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of your kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should not chant, sorry. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of fast prestige, and ready to be offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers, only one who causes devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet.
Oh
No,
my
my Lord, when okay, please continue.
yes, we can continue.
No, Prabhu, continue.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh, Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya
Right,
Mahaprabhu ki jai.
right. Hi, hi.
Bahujana Kariyadi Shravana Kirtana Tabutana Paya Krishna Padiprimadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many verses, he will not get the love of Godhead that is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. 1. to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second
Second.
offense, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sorry.
3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. And I saw that you drew arrow, Prabhu. I cannot believe.
To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in the pursuance of the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
Sixth offense, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names of the Lord.
Eighth offense, to considering the chanting of Hare Krishna is to one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as good activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prem.
Ribo, let us offer respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Mancha
Vancha kalpa Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnava ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Haribo,
Haribo. Haribo.
Jai.
Haribo.
Thank you for joining on this auspicious day. It was a really nice reading session. Thank you, Jai Govinda Prabhu, for making a special appearance.
Haribo.
Okay, see you all again tomorrow. Thank you, Prabhu.